and how we see others. And what we see so incredible at this story is we see God begin to challenge the perspective of Peter. Why did Peter's perspective need to be challenged? And I have this example because I wanted you guys to really see it, okay? This is what it looks like for all of us. All right? This is what it looks like. You think blinders, you think this, because what happens in our perspective, especially in terms of our faith, we all have blinders on. But here's what's worse. Most of us are blind to our own blindness. Most of us are blind to the fact that we're even wearing these until they're challenged. And so here's Peter, and I want you to picture this. Peter spent 3 years with Jesus Christ. He heard from his lips that he was here to seek and save the lost, that he would leave the 99 and go after the one, that he was here to pour himself out, that he would be high and lifted up. I mean, Peter heard word for word everything that was going to happen and the way God has now come down to meet man. And now there's this new freedom in Jesus, and it's called the way, and we follow it. And Peter heard all of that directly from Jesus, and he still thought it was just for the Jewish people because he had these on. That his building blocks of his culture and religion and faith were still this little tiny window of Peter going, oh man, we're not supposed to eat that. I'm not supposed to, I can't share the gospel with them. Even though he heard the truth, he heard it within the perspective, and he had no idea there were blinders on until it was challenged with his dream. And that's what happens when our perspective is challenged. We begin to notice these giant honking things on us, and then we begin to remove them, and the world just opens up. And God's truth just opens up. But this doesn't happen. I'm just telling you, we are blind to our blinders. We are blind to our own blindness. And it doesn't happen unless we're challenged to see something differently, to challenge our perspective. Nothing changed. I mean, this changed the world. But change is always preceded by challenge. Change is always preceded by challenge. And so the question comes today is, does our perspective need to be challenged? Does our perspective need to be challenged because we might not even be aware that this is the building block and the framework in which I understand all of what God's doing, and it just might be bigger than we could possibly imagine?